Hi guys, this is Master Sam, and today we're gonna learn how to clean out your sparring gear. I have a few different options here, and we're gonna discuss all of them. So I'm gonna take all of this out, and I think even if you don't clean your sparring gear every single time, I think at least once you're done, because you're sweaty, you should at least take everything out of your bag and just set it on the ground and let it air out. If you put it in the bag while it's still kind of sweaty and kind of wet, it'll start to eat away, almost like destroy the material in the pads, because your sweat has salt. It's a little bit acidic, so this material will start to, it won't last you as long as it should if you take care of it. Sparring gear can last quite a while if you take really good care of it. Right now, I'm in the process of changing all my sparring gear, updating it, but this is new. I just bought these, but these here are probably at least six years old, at least. They're probably older. You can tell they do start to look kind of bad after a while, but 6 years, if you have to buy one every 6 years, I think that's fine. So anyways, my sparring bag is cleared out. Everything is out of my sparring bag. This is the first step you should do, even if you're not gonna clean it all the way. So we've got the strap type gear. This is my arm guards. We have the strap type gear. This is my shin guards. And then we also have the sock gear. Some of you might have that. Some of you might have these kind, but either way, you still have to clean it. I have these gloves here. These are probably the hardest thing to clean. I have these foot pads. These are also probably the hardest thing to clean, just because these are a little more intricate than everything else. And then you've got your chest gear, and then I've also got my mouth gear. So I forgot the things to clean it with, so I'm gonna be right back, and I'm gonna grab this stuff. Okay, I've returned with the things. The first step, the first method that I recommend is that when you take your sparring gear home, you go to your sink, whatever, water, you take a sponge, something to scrub, and you take a little bit of soap. I really recommend antibacterial unscented soap, because if you say like this is like fabric in the inside. If I put soap, I don't know, say your shampoo in here, and it has a scent, right, most times, and then you bring it back to class and you start sweating, it starts to make a strange smell coming from this, and then it'll be even harder to clean after. So I'll try to find a picture of the ones I recommend, because I don't have them with me, but just a little bit of water, just enough to make the sponge kind of damp, a very tiny amount of soap, because if you get it super soapy, it's gonna be really hard to come out, especially of gear like this or gear like this, because it'll just stay inside the fabric, and again, it'll start, when you're sweating, you might see bubbles on your leg or something like that. So all you do, if you have this kind of gear, I really recommend this method for this kind of gear. You just imagine I have a sponge in my hand, it's damp, it has a tiny amount of soap in it, and you just go in and out and in and out, and you just try to let it get clean. After you clean it out, and it should just be a little wet, a little damp, but not soaking wet. If it's soaking wet, you might damage the foam on the inside. This is just foam. So if it gets really wet, it's almost like if you left a pair of shoes outside in the rain all day, they would pretty much be ruined. The foam on the sole would be pretty much ruined. So after you're done, make sure that you leave the straps unhooked so it has room to breathe, because if you see, if I go like this, it closes, right? But if I leave it unhooked, it opens up a little bit, and just let it out to dry. Just set it, don't set it on anything, don't set it back in your bag, because you can have a risk of it just getting more messed up, or even there could be mold if you leave it in there in the bag with everything closed up. So you just want to leave it straight out to dry. Same thing, clean, leave the straps off, and just let it out to dry. The second method is you can take, I have these disinfecting wipes. So you might have these at your house. If you keep your bag at school, the Taekwondo school, they might have these. All you can do is just ask a master instructor, hey, can I borrow some of these wipes? I'm sure they'll be more than happy to give it to you because they know you're gonna clean your sparring gear. Same thing, it's really not that wet. Here, inside, outside, just clean everything. Clean everything. And I even say clean the outside because stuff can get on the outside too. After you clean it, it only took 5 seconds for this one. Same thing, leave the straps off and just set it aside and let it out to dry. Same thing, these ones are a little different. They have fabric, whereas these have more like a plastic, which is best, but same thing. Just wipe the inside, wipe the outside, and then just set it out to dry. That's it. Same thing for your sparring gear, the chest guard, just wipe it down. You can see that it's kind of getting a little, oh, maybe you can't see, but I can see it's getting a little soapy, but that's okay. It'll come off. It's not a lot of soap or whatever it is. Also, make sure you do the inside. The inside is the #1 part, especially since these are double-sided. You can wear the other side. You really have to clean both sides and the tops too. All right, same thing. You can set it out to dry. Now, next thing, if you have these type of gloves and foot pads, it's a little bit harder. You can do the same method with soap and water, but again, really little amount of water and a really little amount of soap, because these have more fabric almost than pad. So you don't want it to get soaked, and then by the time you throw it in your bag, it's still wet, and then they can get mold or something can happen to it, and you can decrease the life of your pads. So I recommend, especially for these ones, to use the disinfectant wipes because it just works a little bit better. In my opinion, it works. This is what I do. It works just a little bit better. Again, these are pretty old. I'd say they're probably at least 6 years old too. If you take care of your stuff, this goes for anything. If you take care of your stuff, it'll last you a long time. So again, just kind of wipe it. And you can even wipe the inside a little bit too, just be careful. Make sure you take all the straps out. And then again, make sure that you leave everything open. If you close it back up, it will maybe start to deteriorate the pads a little bit. Same thing for the foot. Always wipe the outside, the pad part. Wipe the material part a little bit. Only thing is, don't wipe the Velcro. If you get this wet, the Velcro wet, for any of this, it'll start to lose its stickiness, and you'll start having it pop off, which is very annoying. So here's everything laid out. It's a little bit tight because I want you guys to be able to see everything, but everything's face side up, and you can just let it dry for at least 30 minutes. If you feel it and it's still wet, then give it some time until it dries, and then you can put it back in your bag. Okay, now, if you have this type of gear, it's a little more hard to clean. You can use the disinfectant wipes, and but really, you should put this in the washer at least once a week, because these are almost like your socks. If your socks get super sweaty, you wouldn't just put them back in your drawer or whatever, right? So you want to wash these, but don't wash them. I would say cold water and a really light wash. If your your washer has that setting. And then also, don't dry these. Let them air dry, hang them up somewhere, set them somewhere, and it'll take some time for it to dry. But if you put these in the dryer, I think that they will start to disassemble itself. So you want these to last. You want to take care of your stuff. So cool water, light wash, and then put them somewhere to dry, air dry. Now, if you have mouth guard, I really recommend a case like this. Why? Because, I don't know if you can see, but in between this black part and the green part, there's little air, allowing some air to get in there. And there's also this part, which makes it, one, easy to open, but two, it allows air inside. Because if you put it in your mouth and then put it, I don't know, in a Ziploc bag and it's sealed, it allows for bacteria to grow. So you want it somewhere where you can kind of air it out, and then once you get home, again, take it out, put it in warm-ish water. You don't want super, super hot water, because especially if it's like these kind, they mold to your teeth. So if it gets hot, it'll start to lose its shape again, and then they won't fit your teeth exactly how they should. Little warm water, you can let it soak, and then you can take either an old toothbrush, and again, you can take some antibacterial non-scented soap, because you don't want to taste soap in your mouth. And make sure you rinse it out very, very well, and then let it air dry too. Just set it somewhere on a paper towel and let it air dry, and then you can put it back in here. I also recommend that you clean this. You can clean it the same way that you clean your mouth guard, or you can take these, but you have to make sure that it dries out first before you put your mouth guard in, because also you don't want to taste disinfecting wipes in your mouth. That's not good. Last thing, your bag. You have to clean this too. If you clean everything, but you don't clean this, they're not as clean as they should be, and it's not as well taken care of as it should be. So, Lysol. You guys might notice maybe your bag smells weird, or maybe it smells weird because you've had your sparring gear in there. It's normal, it's a gym bag. So you just want to take a little bit of the Lysol, and just spray it inside all over the place. And if you have extra pockets, spray it in there too, and make sure you take everything out first, because you want the entire bag to be clean and disinfected all the time. After everything is clean, you can put everything back, and then you will have good sparring gear that's nice and clean and ready to go for your next training session. One more note, don't put these in the wash. If you put these in the wash, the Velcro will, again, come apart, and it's not meant for the washer. So definitely just wash it by hand with the methods that I said, because again, you want to take care of all your stuff. Some of this stuff is very expensive, so you want to make sure that it lasts a few years before you have to buy new ones. You don't want to have to buy new ones every 2 months or something, because that can cost a whole lot of money, especially if your parents are buying it for you. It will cost so much money for them. So you want to be able to take care of all your stuff and show that you're responsible and take care of everything, so you can get the best things. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please make sure you clean your sparring gear. Best time is after every single time you train, because you're getting sweaty every single time. Least amount of times minimum is once a week. Once a week. You at least once a week, just to make sure everything is clean, everything is disinfected, and there's no bacteria on it. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys clean your sparring gear. Bye.